Welcome back to Time Travel. This is Scott Barnes TV and I'm your host, Scott Barnes. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. Come with me on a trip down the rabbit hole to 1970s. It's going to be amazing. The 70s was a decade of trends. It was fashion. It was also a time for environmentalism, the women's movement, and social change. And in response to that, people sought out fun, decadence. It was exhilarating, and it was famous for its bell-bottoms and disco. So come with me to the 70s.
I'm living in the 70s. I've just caught another disease. I'm living in the 70s. I'm living in the 70s. I can't stay alive without your love. Baby, don't leave me this way.
Okay, welcome to our Den of Iniquity, Disco Diva
Disco Diva Den.
Dungeon. There's a lot going on in the 70s, as I already said. One of the things I hated the most about the 70s was the early 70s. The clothes were total garbage. Okay?
Garbage.
It wasn't until the later 70s that I think things started getting interesting. Hence, we kind of honed in on 76 to 78, like in that period there. Prior to that, I'm gonna let you guys just examine the clothes. I don't think the style's ever gonna come back. It was like Little House on the Prairie meets Laura Ingalls meets Holly Hobby. It was just like this. In fact, there was a doll that came out, her name was Poor Pitiful Pearl, and she was dressed the exact same way, and there was probably a reason why she was named Poor Pitiful Pearl. Pull it up. And she was kind of sad, and she cried.
Aww.
She was pitiful. Things were happening. Bell bottoms were there, bigger lapels. Everything was polyester. Don't get too close with a match and some Aquanet. Poof, your life could be over. Chunky heels, platforms.
Love.
Everybody was wearing a platform. Even if you were a short person like me, you could wear a platform. You could be taller.
Have some lifts.
Have a little bit of lips. You'd be like, "Hi girls, what's going on?
What's going on?
At the disco, what's happening?" All joking aside, I was born in 68, so by 78 I was 10 years old, 11 years old. I was on the verge of like kind of understanding what fashion was and what excited me and what music was. My parents were into disco. They had like these dance parties and stuff, and it was kind of fun to watch. And there was always music in my house. My parents were young. That was a big catalyst for me. Seeing movies and fashion, I used to buy GQ and I would get magazines and I would see this New York nightlife thing going on. I wanted to be a part of that so bad. So as a kid, grew up in Michigan, moved to New York City when I was 17. It was such an experience for me. What's fueled me to this point is all in this period right here. Left the biggest indelible mark on me. You see so much of my work reflects that of that time period. Let's get involved in that. Everybody's like, "Scott, are you excited? It's the 70s. I was like,
This is your decade.
I was a kid. You were probably like little in the 80s, right?
90s was my decade.
Okay,
Yeah.
it leaves that impression on you.
Right, like the 90s supermodels, all those kind of like
Which we
iconic,
love.
influential people
Yeah.
from that time.
In the 70s, we have to create an iconic look. Like some of my favorite photographers is Chris von Wagenheim, Lisa Taylor, amazing model from the 70s. She was great. She was also in the movie Eyes of Laura Mars. She played a model in that. John Sahag was in that film. Faye Dunaway, Tommy Lee Jones. I mean, it was a great film. It was a fashion film, and Helmut Newton did a lot of the photography, or the photography for the film. Another amazing 70s photographer. Guy Bourdon, amazing person. Let's talk about makeup artists out there, you guys. So if you don't know, you should know, and if you don't know, I'm gonna educate you right now. Before Way Bandy and Harry King, girls did their own hair and makeup. So it wasn't until like Scavullo started really working with Way Bandy and they started creating all these covers, did there become a rate for hair and makeup people. We have to pay homage to the people that came before us and created a movement, created style, and created their own kind of path for us to follow and for us to be able to be respected in the business of hair and makeup. With that being said, if you don't know, you should know. Way Bandy, look it up. I think he was passed away before I started doing makeup. And I got to New York in, I want to say 86, 87, somewhere in there, and people were dropping like flies. The AIDS epidemic was like a big deal. So every week you were going to a funeral. What's really great, Lakin, is that I'm gonna pull a lot of inspiration from Halston. He was way ahead of his time. He clearly sailed right into the 80s. If you look at really what his quote unquote downfall was, he started licensing everything out. And people pulled away from him. Like Bergdorf Goodman was like, you're licensing your name to JCPenney. We don't want anything to do with you. Big mistake. Huge. He saw the future before other people did.
Absolutely.
And it was people like Pierre Cardin
Yes.
that followed in his
Amazing.
footsteps. There was like Pierre Cardin. I mean, he did everything. Put his name on carpeting.
Right.
Nowadays, celebrity put their name on anything.
Right.
Gasoline, it's my name.
mine.
Liquor, created it. Eyeglasses, created them. Shoes, got them. Makeup, got them. So let's talk about makeup in the 70s. Women were tan. We did a spray tan on you.
Yes.
We used body bling. And guess what, guys? The new rose gold body bling. She's gorgeous. She's ready. She's rose. We put her on, and I used
My favorite.
the pave powder
Pave
over
powder.
top of it. So we prep the body. I always say, like, if you're gonna do a tan thing or if you're gonna cheat a tan, start with your body, work up to the face. Otherwise, you got two different zip codes going on, and everybody's like, oh my God, she's a hot mess, which we're gonna work with hot mess today, too. And listen to me when I tell you the best body brush on the planet, brush number 69. But this is perfect. Summer's coming. You want glowy, hoey skin. Pave powder. Don't forget it, which I love. you know?
I love it.
And you gotta have them together. I love this on the face. If anybody's like a brush connoisseur like me, it's got the right amount of bounce and softness too. It's a good combination of hard and soft. If you haven't gotten it, try it. You're gonna love it. Let's talk about contour. Contour was very important in the 70s. And the thing is, in the 70s, which we're not gonna do, is you can really see the contour. Like you can see it. It was like on top. We did the
It's
foundation. I'm going in with brush number 65. We're gonna go in here and I'm gonna just chisel right up along the jawline. I will say pretty at some point, but we're not there yet. So what do you think this hair that Frank made for you is?
I love it. I think it is so divine. I feel like it's so disco. It's so fun.
All right, so I'm gonna use the fan brush now, number 66. I should have these memorized, right? I made them. I'm just like, the fan brush, I don't know. Everybody's like, you gotta give them numbers. I'm like, hey. There's nothing more annoying than you're like, oh, I love that lipstick, number 6, 700, 455, 92. Little cheeky cheeks. Yeah, this is fun.
Super sexy, super bronzy, very 70s.
Okay, she's cute. I'm gonna work out of this new blush palette I've been working on.
Ooh.
I have new blushes coming out, you guys. I don't think I'm gonna do it in a palette though, like this. But they put it in the palette for me so I could test them out.
Some drama.
We need some punch. It was kind of almost like what we did in the 30s, where the makeup went up high. Like it wasn't the razor sharp of the 80s. But she's kind of pinky pinks. And you wore a lot of makeup in the 70s. It wasn't just like, oh, let's emphasize on the
Natural
eyes.
look.
We're kind of honing in on the fashionette
Sure.
area. So I think we should go into the atelier. We're gonna do a little bronzers. Let's toast around the edges. Let's do the Soleil powder, Bondi Beach. Let's use another fan brush, Soleil bronzer, and it's in Bondi Beach. When you're gonna do a bronzer, you gotta load the brush. I go around the edges, and you just kind of like get it all warmed up. And you leave the center of the face a little bit lighter, otherwise you get mud. Talk to a girl and you're like, put some bronzer on, they go, eh, and they go right into next to the nose. You wind up with a
Yeah.
dirty face. Atelier made, we're gonna go into the colors. We want a little bit of drama.
Do we?
We're doing drama. If you want drama, you came to the right place. First, we're gonna do a color wash. We're gonna build this eye up, and the way I'm gonna do that is I'm gonna use Travel Kit. Let's do the Travel highlighter, because I can do a good color wash with that. I'm gonna hit Globetrotter, and we're gonna just kind of go right up. Look at how easy this is, guys. Anybody can do this, I'm telling you. This is Globetrotter. This is almost like what I consider like a reverse cut crease, because we're doing the top darker.
All the way, yeah.
Yeah, and leaving the lid alone. And then we bring this out to the side. Yes, honey. You really always wanted to make the eyes really pop. You wanted them to stand out like a mile away, right? Which was great.
Iconic.
That was Globetrotter. It's not really purple, but it's not really gray either.
Right.
She's a little bit in between. She's a little bit of both. Let's go into talk to my agent. I'm not talking to your agent anymore. We're gonna go on the lid with it. It's a lighter shade. You guys can see that. Let me show you what I'm using. Now you could do the same technique with any color combination. And I'm using the fluffer brush with this, number 62. And I'm telling you, these do not have fall out because they're good eyeshadows that I have created.
They're amazing. It just goes on and stays on.
I always call it the one swipe, you know?
Yeah.
You can get color from it in one swipe.
Definitely.
Which I
Super
love.
pigmented
Yeah.
too.
She's cute. All right, we're going back to Globetrotter again. And I'm going in with that tighter liner. It wasn't like about a really sloppy eye where it was like super smoky. It was about a tighter line that had a lot of drama. So let's talk about nails for a second. Nails were like amazing. Yoko did your nails today.
Yes. I want to show everyone.
I
They're
know.
so exciting. She's been present on a few different shoots and done the nails, and they're always so incredible.
Now, I'm gonna go back to a product that I use a lot, the Senna Brow Gel, and I'll tell you guys why. 70's was not about filling in the brows. It was
Okay.
about letting the brows go natural or using a clear gel.
Nice.
That's what they used on the
Kinda
brows,
simple.
just to kind of like tame them. This has got a little bit of gold in it, which I love. We're gonna use it. You guys, this is a must-have for your kid. This also can just soften up a brow if you do too much color on it. She looks good. And turn it a little bit. This is just about taming the brow. We're gonna let the eyeshadow do a lot of the talking today. We don't need the brows to do the speaking. Eyeshadows were like neutral. I call it a color wash, blends everything together. It's kind of like if you're in a hurry, you can just do a pass of color. Can we talk about some movies?
Yeah, let's talk about
All
some
right.
movies. There were some really fun classics that came out in the 1970s. One of the ones that I feel like is super iconic, I watch every year at Thanksgiving, The Godfather, came out in 1972.
The Godfather.
The Godfather.
If you weren't, you were garbage if you didn't watch it, okay?
We also had our very first blockbuster in 1975.
Do
Get
tell.
this?
No, I don't know. Tell me.
Dun 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 dun.
Shark,
That's
do,
right.
do, 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 baby. Shark baby.
In 1977,
What did we have?
We had the introduction of Star Wars.
Also, one of the biggest movies, which scared the bejesus out of everybody, was The Exorcist that came out.
I'm
So-
still scared. I wouldn't watch it.
I know, my
Never
parents
seen
were like,
it.
you can't watch it. And I was like, made me want to watch it because
Right,
they said I couldn't
right.
watch it. And then I was like, okay, I shouldn't have watched it. Okay, what else?
Mahogany, which
Love Diana Ross, but just
Yes.
like, yes, Diana Ross.
1977, Close Encounters of the Third Kind,
Which I feel like I go through every single day in my life. There's aliens all around
all
us.
around us.
Mhm.
And then Network in 1976.
That was a really good film. And guess what? My assistant, Caitlin, who's a great makeup artist, her dad was in Network on Broadway.
No
so
way.
shout out to
Aw,
Mr.
shout
Wyman.
Out Caitlin's dad, Mr. Wyman.
Whoop, whoop.
Hey.
Give it to Mr. Wyman.
And then switching to TV, there were a lot of really classic
Mhm.
1970s television shows and cartoons. My childhood favorite, even growing up in the 90s,
I still like it.
was Scooby-Doo.
Oh, Shaggy.
Daphne,
Okay.
Velma, Shaggy, the whole gang.
Who did you relate to?
Daphne.
Of course.
1976, The Muppets Show. 1976,
Charlie's Angels.
Charlie's Angels. 1975.
What? What happened?
SNL. Saturday
Oh yeah,
Night
that was
Live.
such a good show. So let's put some mascara on. Let's build these up a little bit before we put on a lash. I thought another good show that you didn't bring up was Three's Company. John Ritter, hilarious.
Suzanne Summers.
Suzanne Summer.
Diane Summers. Who's
You're thinking
Diane?
Donna Summer.
Donna Summers and
Suzanne Summers. Two totally different people, but hey,
Suzanne Summers. She was fabulous. She had her whole exercise line too, right?
didn't everybody? The 70's is when the show started. And they were in California here. Look up. Yeah, they were single people and they were roommates. They were trying to, like, you know, survive. And they had the nosy neighbor landlord. Lashes are so much fun to paint. Okay, you know what I feel? Let's get that pave powder cracking again. I always just like mix it up a little bit. Everything in the 70's was all about that glow.
Bronze, yeah.
Well, you were like disco dancing
That's
all
yeah.
night.
I was out. I was at the disco.
You would get ready to be out all night. So I made some fabulous lashes for you. So I'm gonna use my callus glue that I always use. I just made these for you. They're really cute.
Aw,
Check them.
beautiful.
Yes.
Wow.
If you guys love these lashes, let me know. Maybe we'll produce them. I'm gonna let you hold this.
Okay. Let it
While
dry.
it dries a little bit, I'm gonna work
Sure.
on your eye a little bit. I'm gonna use last looks on this, just around the lash line, right here. You can really like kind of alter this look the best way possible. I made a mess. There we go. She's pretty. I'm gonna go right underneath, tight. This again is last looks. You wanna create this look. I'm just manhandling your face over here. Just don't.
Oh, good.
Thank you. Okay, I think this lash is ready to go on, and you're gonna open your eye just a little bit. Check her out. Ooh, she's pretty. She's kind of cute, right?
Very cute.
She's got a lot of drama.
She's got a lot of drama.
I don't know if I like it. I'm redoing the lash situation. Let's talk about mascara a little bit. We're gonna do more on the bottom. You could just like wear your own lashes. It was really about just getting it like on there, top and bottom.
It was both of them.
Yeah.
They were both showing up in this decade.
People were not shy from it. makeup was like definitely a thing. So I was working on these lashes for you. And these are kind of awesome, so I hope you like them.
I love the look of them.
Yeah, they're a little bit open and spacey.
Yeah.
So what was your favorite thing about the 70s?
Well, I love to dance. So I love a lot of the music that came out of this era. The rock was good.
The disco was good.
I'm a big Bee Gees fan.
You know they're Australian.
Yes.
I'm sure Frank said something about it. He loves all that kind of glam rock stuff. That blush looks great on you.
Ready for Studio 54.
Okay, let me get this lash on you and see what we got. Oh, she's cute. I'm gonna trim the corner of this.
Sure.
She looks a little sharp to me. What other inventions came out?
One, I'm sure at some point we have all used, maybe, a floppy disk.
Yeah, I mean,
Do
yeah.
you use those?
No, I don't use them anymore.
For sure, one of the big things that we all use, that we all probably have, and we could even be watching this on, is our cell phone.
It wasn't a cell phone, it was a
mobile phone.
You were mobile with it. My mom used to call everything a car phone.
Oh my God.
She was hilarious. Even like after like cell phones came out, she was like, "Give me the car phone." You're like, "Are we in a car?"
We're like, we're not in a car.
We're in the living room.
Oh, Mom.
A little torturous.
No.
All right, go.
That's great, yeah.
I think it's on there. I'm gonna marry the two together with a little bit of mascara. What else came out in the 70s was Post-it notes.
Oh my gosh.
So eyeshadows were primarily like cream based, they were powder based, a lot of different formulas. And you use this Marc Jacobs black pencil. I'm gonna go right into the waterline with it. Yeah, she's cute. This gets punchy, it really makes the eyes pop. People use blush on their lids too. It's kind of like a free-for-all.
I kind of like that.
It was a nice departure
Yeah.
because everything was so like meticulous before.
Right.
The 50s, it was like, this is the rules and you're gonna stick with it. And people started just being like, I'm in control of my own life. Women's rights came up at this point. People were very liberated in a lot of ways.
There started to be a very large environmental consciousness. And
My birthday
that's what I was gonna say.
and Earth Day are the same day.
Yeah, April 22nd.
So if you guys want to get me anything, just get me a tree.
Plant
Yeah.
a tree in honor of Scott.
Well, it's funny because I'm a Taurus and they say that that's like an earth sign. Jeez, goodness. The one end's like flapping around a little bit.
Yeah, that feels good.
I have a fun color for you. We're gonna talk about lips. Lips were like glossy. They were like kind of juicy looking. They weren't really red. So we could have either gone with two things, which was Roller Girl. She's really pinky.
I'm a roller girl.
Yeah,
At
I'm
heart.
kind of feeling her. We didn't use a liner. I don't know if we need one. It just kind of feels more authentic not to use a liner. This liner wasn't like a big thing. I think Roller Girl is just like it.
I feel like with this color palette, it just complements it so well.
I was gonna do Hot Mess.
Hot Mess is a fun color. It's beautiful.
She's like a little disco-y because she's shimmer. Yeah, she's pretty. Let's just throw a little bit of the Hot Mess in there. Just like, let's heat it up a little bit. I think it intensifies it. Watch how pretty that gets.
Ooh. I love that, Scott. Pretty.
Like sometimes when you mix things together, like the weirdest
best.
things work together.
Yeah.
It's like a pairing. You're like, oh, this would never go together. But then when you see it together, you're like,
This is great.
oh my God, why did I not think of that earlier? Really, really pretty. I feel like we could just intensify this just a little tiny bit more. What else do we got?
You want some 70s slang?
Let's do 70s slang.
Let's do some 70s slang. Don't be a spaz. Or we still use that one.
Duh.
Space cadet.
People still say that.
Yeah. Sit on it.
That was very Happy Days, the Fonz. Henry Winkler.
Henry Winkler? Yeah.
Yeah.
Phony. That's a phony story. Phony baloney.
Yeah. She's pretty. Cute.
Take a chill pill.
People are taking a lot of pills in the 70s. What else we got?
Skinny.
What's a skinny?
What's going on? What's happening?
That was a good show too.
Which one?
What's happening?
Oh, what's happening? Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I was out to lunch on that one.
That means you weren't really present.
Catch you on the flip side.
Catch on the flip. See you later.
Yeah. Boogie down.
That's what you did every night.
Right. Brick house.
That meant she was stacked in the front and stacked in the back. She was built like
She
a
was
house.
built. Do me a solid.
That means like, do me this favor and
Yeah.
I'll do you a favor. But usually it was just always a one-way street.
Right on.
Right on, man. Right on.
Bam.
Oh, like bam, bam.
Bam.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was very bam. Okay.
In 1970, you had the very first reusable plastic bag. Ziploc.
Resealable. She
Resealable,
keeps
not
saying
reusable.
reusable, and I keep
Oh.
thinking, what are we doing?
What are we-
She goes, is it the grocery store bag? I'm like, no,
He's like, no, it's a Ziploc.
We should have just said Ziploc, but I think Ziploc made it famous. The Rubik's Cube. How many of you guys had that Rubik's Cube and you tried and tried and tried until you just peeled the stickers off? Which you guys we identify this because it's a little late in the 70s. It was 1979. And we relate this to the 80s, but it was the Walkman that came out.
Yeah.
You had your own personal radio on your head, as opposed to dragging the boombox. The digital camera, who would have thunk 1975? The digital camera came out, and guess what? You could push through cans. You know, when you open up the
Almost
can.
Like opening of like a Coke can.
Yeah, like before you peeled the tab, and then the tabs were everywhere, and you were picking them up on the side of the street, and then the Indian was crying. It was like the whole thing. This is why the environmentalists came in.
And on April 22nd.
And on April 22nd, we had the Earth Day. So let's keep it tight, people. Side note, like here in our studio, at the Scott Barnes studio, in our offices, we use all reusable. Everybody has their own cup, and we have water to fill up and everything. We try to minimize water bottles as much as possible. We use glass, which is recyclable. They come and pick up the glass, 5-gallon containers. And so we try to really minimize what goes into the ocean. And it's something to really think about if everybody does just a little bit to not put all that stuff in the garbage. So this is that kind of situation. And we do this, and I notice that we throw away very little plastic here in our office. Just stuff to think about. It's Earth Day coming up.
Earth
So
Day,
get
guys.
ready, y'all. I hope you guys enjoyed this 70s fabulousness. And I think it's time for us to hit Studio 54. We're gonna dance a little bit. We're gonna do a photo shoot, and we're gonna really pay homage to a couple of my favorite things, which was Chris von Wagenheim, photographer, and Halston. Okay, so God bless you guys. I love you. I'll see you at the photo shoot.
See you guys there.